You're doing amazing things out here. I'm so
Um,
happy for you. I'm so excited to talk to you. I'm nervous.
about what? You already know we've been down. How long we've been rocking? It's good to see you,
Right. I'm
Flo.
nervous, but nervous in a good way because I know it's going to
Right,
be a great conversation. I know we're,
right.
I do this to inspire people, and you do what you do to inspire people as well. So I just know that something
Yes.
great is going to come along with this
Praise God.
conversation. If we could touch one person tonight, we did a good job.
I know that's right. That's right. Come on, come through.
How have you been holding up? How have you been maintaining, through this pandemic and just life in general?
You know what, Flo? I'm well, man. Listen, at the end of the day, listen, God has been good. We all still here. It's just like, you know, I look at it and it's just like, I say, wow, God, we still here. So it's just like, man, listen, no complaints. You can complain. You don't get me wrong. You can find something to complain about. But at the end of the day, it's just like, I'm so grateful. Like, it's just like, my family as well. I don't have no complaints. It's just like I'm still being careful, wearing my mask, social distancing, all of that, just because the world has opened up and man has said, you know, um, we can go around without our masks, man. Listen, until God says something, it is not going down at all.
Right, right,
Yes,
right,
for
right.
real.
you know, you gotta mask up. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And you gotta stay protected and protect yourself and protect your
yes,
family and do what's best for you and what's on your heart and what's on your spirit. And
yes.
it's a lot of conversations about people taking the vaccine, not taking the vaccine, and how you want to move. And you just gotta really do what's on your heart and what you feel in your spirit.
Right. You know what? When it comes to that, it's just like, man, like you said, for one, I want to say to all those who have lost loved ones in the midst of this pandemic, I pray that the Lord would just truly, truly continue to comfort your heart because it's been a lot of deaths out here and it's a lot going on still. And it's just like, we just got to be careful out here. When it comes to the vaccine, whatever it is that the Lord lay in your heart to do, you know what I mean? And it's just like, I don't want to tell somebody not to do this and not to do that because it's not my place to unless the Lord laid in my heart to say, hey, listen, such and such and such and such. But other than that, it's just like I look at the situation and I say, whatever it is that is in your heart to do, then first I'm going to tell you, pray about it. First I'm going to say, pray, ask God, wait for an answer. And then from there, allow him to just speak to you, but at the end of the day, that's how I'm rocking. I'm not looking to just jump into things no more. I've learned. I've made so many mistakes just jumping. So it's just like in the midst of it all, I'm learning how to see God's face even the more on a for real note. And waiting to hear what He has to say instead of like my apostle and my pastor have taught us is that one thing about it is though you ask God something and then you try to get Him to do it your way, your plans. Opposed to asking and waiting. Sometimes that wait period, you just be like, yo, like God.
So anxious,
Yes.
and we so quick to get things in our time, in our timing. You know what I
Right.
mean? But
Right.
his timing. And I say this all the time. We got to jump in the passenger seat and let God be in the driver's seat.
Yeah.
Um,
Absolutely.
and you'll try to do something and God will spin you back around so many times and be like, nope, this is the way you need to go. Nope.
Absolutely.
And you be like, I want to
Absolutely.
do this and I want to do that. Or, you can see other people accomplishing certain things or getting certain things. You're like, how come I'm not getting that? How come God's not blessing me with that? And
Right.
everything is about timing. If something is not for you, God's going to show you that it's not for you. If something is for you,
Absolutely.
He's going to show you that. He's going to give you that.
Yes. Absolutely.
You know,
I agree.
I know a lot about you. I know a lot about Total. I've always been a fan. I've always been a supporter, even before we started working together. But I
Yeah.
never really knew some of the backstory about yourself in Jersey and how did you discover that music was your calling?
Right. How did everything get together as far as with Total and all of that?
Yourself. How did
Oh,
when did you
oh
first
me.
discover before Total? When did you first discover okay, music is my calling? I can really sing. I have this distinctive voice, and it's magical that God blessed me. When did you
Wow.
first discover that?
Wow. You know what, Flo, in all honesty, it's just like, as a little kid, it's just like it was something that was burning on the inside of me. I used to sit at the table. I was just saying the other day, I was like, I just sit at the table and hum. I'm eating my food and like, my mom was just like, no, no, no. So it's just like, it was just something that was always in me. And I remember, I got my first solo in church, and then everybody standing up, yes, God. And I was just like, oh, like, that's when I was probably like around 9, 10-ish or somewhere around that age. I don't think I was no more than probably like no more than 11. And I sung, and it's just like, from there, like, listen, I thought I was Michelle Jackson, and I thought I was a part of the Jackson family. So it was just like, it was something that was always there. And I remember telling my mom, like, I was around like maybe 15 or so, and I was just like, I don't want to go to college. I was like, I want to sing. And my mom was just like, all right. And a family friend actually took me to the studio one day, and went to the studio. And actually, the studio that I went to, a gentleman by the name of Norman Bradley, and Kima and Keisha was working with him. We didn't know each other. And I went to the studio, I recorded a joint, and my mom heard it. I came home late because, in the studio, first time, you doing takes over and over and over again. I was, very inexperienced.
You didn't have that skill where you could just go in and
yeah, I ain't have the skill. I didn't know nothing about being in the studio. I was just singing. You thinking that it's just take one take, but it's just like no. So it's just like with all of that said, um, I went to the studio, came home, and my mom. I was actually about to get a whooping, and he was like, "Miss Judy, no, no, no. We was at the studio. We was at the studio." So my mom heard the record, and she allowed me to go back. And from there, Kim and Keisha, like, we saw each other in passing, and I heard a song that they did. They heard the song that I did. They liked it or whatever. And just to fast forward, they called me. Norman called me on the phone with Kim and Keisha, probably like about a couple of weeks after, maybe 2 weeks or so after. And he was just like, "Hey, listen, I think y'all should be a group." And I didn't know that they was looking for a third member, so they asked me, and I was like, "Nah, I'm good. I don't want to be in no group." And so he was like, "I think you really should be in a group, da 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 da." And then I was just like, "All right, I'll do it." And then, all right, I'll do it. Just went on, and we just started. We met a woman by the name of Kathy Dukes through some friends of Kim and Keisha. She never told us that her son was Puff's godson. And but she never told us. And so with all of that said, she used to have us in her car, and she'd be like, "Get out my car," and sing for the person on the corner. Like, I mean, literally pull out and be like, "Yo, get out." And she's about that. And Kathy
she was preparing you for.
She was preparing us. Yes, we had no idea. She was grooming us. And getting that fear off of us. But just being able to just sing. And then I remember one day she took us to CL Smooth, and we sung for him, and we sung for Glenn, who used to sing dance backup for Heavy D, God rest his soul. And it was just like random people that she would just have us singing at different spots. We sung for for a hair salon. They had an event. It was different things that she had us just always doing. And one day she was like, "I'm gonna take y'all to Puff Daddy," and because that was his name at the time. And so she took us up to the Hit Factory, and because she had groomed us the way that she did, it was like he came down on the elevator, and as soon as dude got on the elevator and them doors closed, we was all in his face. I mean, giving it to him, coming hard. And he was kind of just like, and it was just like, and he walked off the elevator, and when he walked into the lounge, I mean, we just started performing, going for it, and we was all in his face. And at one point, he kind of like did a little smile, but he ain't showed the teeth. He wasn't coming. He wasn't gonna give it all up to us like that. He had the stone face on, and with all of that, we finished singing. He asked us our names. He was just like, if y'all ever had an argument, would y'all still be able to work in the studio? It was like, yes. And he's like, all right, thank y'all for coming out. And it was just like, oh, like he ain't like us, So it was very hurtful, that was painful. And so, but 5 o'clock that morning, he called Kathy and was like, "Don't take those girls anywhere. I want to sign them." And so that's how the jump off came.
Can you remember what song you had sung?
Yeah, the joint that we sung, it was a song that we had. Dangerous Relationships is one of them. And then it was another record. I'm not sure if Kima and Keisha, it was called Just a Freak in Me at that time, you know what I mean? But for the most part, yeah, I mean, we was going. We was coming hard. And, when we first started, our name was Total Opposite. And Puff just started calling us Total for short, because when you look at all three of us, we are completely different. And that's the name that Keisha came up with, Total Opposite. And he just started calling us Total for short, and it stuck.
Wow,
Hmm.
that's an amazing story. It kind of makes me think back to 112 as well. When you
Yeah.
were talking to them and how they sung for Puff in front of the club, and
Hmm.
he didn't give them that. You know
Right.
what I mean? That confirmation that like, yo, y'all dope.
No.
It was just one of those
They-
laid back, chill things that you kind of wondering like, all right, maybe he really for us.
Like, do he like me or not or something? But yeah, that was just a part of his personality. But I'm telling you, it was just like he definitely knew great talent. Look at the roster that he had.
Mm-hmm. What was the first cut record that y'all cut on Bad Boy? Can you recall?
The first joint, Kim and Keisha actually did Juicy with Biggie. So yes, and I wasn't on that record. Yeah, I actually wasn't at the studio that day. I was a little salty too. I was a little salty um, because I was more the homebody. So they just so happened to go to the studio, and Puff had given them the opportunity to get on the joint, and they did it, and they smashed it. Yeah, so it was just like, yes, absolutely. But that was the first record that Total was on. I got the opportunity to do the video, and then after that, the next thing you know, here we come. Can't you see? There it was. It was just like, yeah,
Take off.
95.
Can you recall, right? Can you recall where you were when you first heard y'all on the radio? Was it Juicy when you first heard Total on the radio, or was it Can't You See?
Yeah, it was Total. Yep, it was Juicy. When I don't remember where I was when Juicy came out, but I remember we were home when Can't You See came out. I was home, and I believe, yes, I was home, and my sister and them, everybody was just like, because I was so used to hearing a song all the time. So when everybody else reaction was like, I was like, then I reacted, then I was like, oh, then it was just like, yo, it was amazing. I was still living in the projects when it came out. You know what I mean? I was still living in the projects when the joint came out. So it was just like everybody was just like, "Yo,
It's the
it was dope."
takeover. It's time. You
Yeah,
know,
it was dope.
and I think that for me speaking to a lot of different artists, I can tell at that moment that hearing that record on the radio at that
Hmm.
time was just like the all right, this is what I'm doing. Like, that
The I made it
motivation,
moment. Yeah,
that
yeah.
made that mama I made it moment. Um, can you recall? Can you recall like shooting a video? Can't you see
Yes,
that video?
absolutely.
That
I
video
sure
was like
do.
super dope. Can you
Yeah. That video was amazing. It was such an amazing moment, And I even remember Puff grooming us, telling us, certain things to do. He told us to watch a woman by the name of Annie Lennox, and he was just like, watch her facial expressions, how she performs for the camera. So we did our homework. And it's just like it was the coldest day of the year. It was below 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, and it was so cold out there. But it was just like as soon as those cameras came on, you would have thought that this was not our first video ever. And it was just like it was just so dope. And it's just like, big, all of us, we was on top of the fountain, in Central Park, and I mean performing, going at it. It was just an amazing moment. And it was just like I said, and then that's when that's where me and Pup just start rocking. That's
I
where
kicked
the
that.
whole movement came from. So it's just like it was so much of a vibe that day, and it was just awesome. It was something that was just destined to be. And I thank God for just the opportunity to be able to have been in that moment. And it's something that will always, that I always remember, because it's just like, yo, out of all the records that we've done, I mean, we've done some smashes that I really really love, but that Can't You See, when it come on, it's just
Listen, I remember when we did Stage 48.
Mm-hmm.
First time I met you,
Yeah.
and we did that was like 2015, and it was Total's first show in a while.
Yes.
And I remember just when I came out,
Wall
the
to
way the
wall people.
building was shaking, the way you was rocking, the way like
Whew.
the energy in the building was crazy. Did you expect, like, let's just say home, because New York, New Jersey was
Right.
definitely supporting. Did you expect, after all of the years that we didn't see Total, did you expect that reaction?
You know what? I'm not going to say that I expected it or I didn't expect it, but what's so dope about it is that when you get out on that stage and you see wall to wall people, it's just like you like, yo. that the and they rocking with you, you know what I mean? And everybody rocking with you, I promise you, it make you want to give everything you got. And then some. So it's just like, and that's how I feel, every time I get on the stage, man, I just want to give everything I got and then some. So it's just like it's one of the most amazing feelings, especially it's just like a person who loves to whatever it is that they love to do, whatever job description that you have, when you love it and it's in your heart for real, man, listen.
That feeling
Listen, you gonna give it up. Yes, everything you got.
everything you got is undeniable. That it's the greatest feeling in the world.
Yes, it is.
We recently lost two folks that you used to work with from the BadBoy,
Yeah,
Black Rob,
yeah.
Chunky Thompson. Can you recall any favorite moments with them at the time that y'all working together? Can you recall?
You know what? In all honesty, I can't say that I recall like any moments that we had, but what I can say is that, God rest his soul, is that Rob was a great dude. He always showed love, always the same, always Rob, and of course he put it down on a What About Us remix for the album, and then Chucky was just a beautiful soul. It was just like he was I never seen Chucky not be Chucky. And what I mean is that he was just always pleasant, always the same person, and always willing to be of a help. Even when it was like those moments when when the people stopped calling your name, quote unquote. It was just like he was still there. Chucky was still there, still willing to give a track. Still willing to do things. So it's just like it's unfortunate that they're no longer here. You know what I mean? But it's just like their legacy will continue to move on because can't nobody come through with whoa like Rob. Come on, whoa. Come on, like whoa, like who comes up with a joint like that? And if you put that joint on today, it's gonna
Spots
go
everywhere, everywhere,
everywhere. Yes,
everywhere.
yes,
I've
and
been, I've
yes.
been, I've been all over the country, and no matter where that song comes on at,
Come on.
it
It's
rocks.
just like yes. It's just like it's them joints that just stay with you, like it'll never be erased. You can never take from that. And then Chucky, timeless music. He, working with some of everybody, and it's just like it's just amazing. It really is something. That's why life is short, and we gotta make sure that we live it to the fullest. Live it to the fullest, but also know who you living it for. Is very important. And what I mean by that, are you living for God? Are you living for Christ? Or are you living for the world? You know what I mean? Because listen, at the end of the day, we gonna leave here and we gonna have to face God on one note or another. Either he gonna be our Lord and Savior, he gonna say, well done, my good and faithful servant, come in. Or either he gonna be the judge and say, hey, depart from me, I never knew you. In that other place, a lot of people don't like to talk about it, but it's real. Hell is real. It is real. All the way real. And that's a place that I ain't trying to go to. God help me. For
Right,
real.
right,
Straight up.
right. You know, I was supposed to I was supposed to talk to Chunky. Um,
Wow.
I was gonna bring him on the show, and then unfortunately he passed. So, may him and Rob rest in peace.
Jesus.
My condolences to the whole BadBoy family, everyone. To, their family, their friends, 100%.
Right.
Yes,
Wow.
yes, y'all. Amen. Listen, I've never had nobody in the comments saying amen. There we go.
Wow.
um,
That's
what's something, right, with your time at Bad Boy, that we're gonna move on. What's something that your time at Bad Boy that Puff taught you? Because Puff is such a genius. What's
Mhm.
something that he maybe told you or taught you that that stood with you after
Mhm.
after
Okay.
Bad Boy?
You know what? I can honestly say what Puff has taught me about the industry, and I wrote about it in my book. Total Exposure. It's a chapter that's dedicated to him, the $1 Million Man. You know what I mean? And so I say all of that to say is that he taught me business, if not anything else. You know how sometimes it's just like you can be in this industry and your heart can be so big and so huge, and sometimes people can teach you things without them teaching you. You know what I mean? And sometimes it take you a little while to get it, and I was the one that took me a little while to get it. Because it's just like, coming into the industry, I was younger, I was young, and so it's just like, the business side of things, you pretty much well, you don't have to, but I made the mistake of leaving that to a lot of other people opposed to taking things on for myself, especially when I got older. And the business aspect of it, it wasn't something that he just said to me, or you do this or you do that. It's just like I learned business. And it's just like, and I'm grateful for that. And it's just like, because when you do business, you have to be careful because sometimes you can allow your heart to get mixed up in it. And that's not good business. You know what I mean? Either you're going to do one or the other. And even in the Bible, it talks about us doing business as men. So even one thing about it is, though, you have to know how to do business, and good business, not saying that you do bad business, because there's good business and there's bad business. And so the things that I've learned from him is that you saw him push, you saw his diligence, you saw him no matter what. It was just like, even with the downfalls that he had, he still got up and fought for what it is that he wanted. And so those were the things that I learned from a distance. You know what I mean? And it's just like, sometimes they say, eat the meat, spit out the bones. So it's just like, so
That's
at
the
the end of
old,
the
that's the
day,
old saying.
yeah, for real. You know what I mean? So it's just like, yeah, so you take the good parts, the things that will help to nourish you along the way, and then the bones you throw away, you toss them to the side. So there are some nuggets that I learned, and it's just like, I believe that a good bit of us at Bad Boy can take some look and say, you know what, I learned this. I may not have been told this, but I learned some things along the way, even through the good, the bad, and the ugly. So I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful for it all, because had I not gone through Bad Boy, I wouldn't be Pamela. I wouldn't be Pam from Total. You know what I mean? And I wouldn't be in this process of going and shifting into the solo project for Pamela Long. So it's just like everything has a reason, and you can find if you look at it, it's just like you can find the good in it. You can find the good
Find the
in it.
beauty in everything.
All you gotta do is look for it. Sometimes that's the hardest thing to do now. Don't get me wrong. Don't get it twisted. Sometimes you be like,
You
yo,
gotta dig deep. You gotta be like,
where
where
can I
is the
find the
good
good?
in this? You gotta keep
Yeah.
digging in the bag. But
Yes.
eventually, that's like being able to find something funny in everything,
Mhm.
right? You can find something funny in just about everything.
Mhm.
And sometimes you gotta dig for it, and sometimes it's right there. But when it comes to life lessons, sometimes you're like, what's this lesson? You know what I mean? You want it to
Right.
be in your face, but sometimes you really gotta sit and,
Mhm.
like, hindsight, and evaluate what you experienced and what you went through, and take whatever you were supposed to learn from that and take it and carry it on with you.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Because you can grow. It's one thing I can say is that and it's just so true. Everything, like, when it comes to life, it's just like, I know a lot of times a lot of people say, you try to put God to the side. All right, let me just, because you can't, sometimes people separate life. All right, I'm going through some things, but I promise you, everything that we go through is in the Bible, is in the Word of God. I promise you that you can find your answer. You can find, because God is the answer. You know what I mean? So it's just like, I say all that to say is that there's a verse, and I promise y'all, if y'all check it out, Romans chapter 8, verse 28, and it says, all things work together for good to them who love God and who are the called according to his purpose. So I say that everything in our lives, it may not feel good. It may not feel good. It may not look good, but it's working for our good. Because one thing about God is that he's perfect and he's great and he's awesome. And he can make misery into a message. You know what I mean? That's just how powerful he is. So everything that we go through in life, I'm learning that it's just like, yo, you can learn from it, and it can help you to grow if you allow. And that's one thing I'm learning, is that God's character. And prophet, a man of God at my church, shout out to Prophet Zaire. He said one thing that he did say just recently, and I heard he was talking about God's character and how God was saying that we don't know his character. And when you think about it, it's just like, sometimes when you're going through rough moments and you're going through this and you're going through that, sometimes it's so easy to point the finger at God and be like, yo, where you at? You know what I mean? Like, where you at? And I've been there, like, you know what I mean? I've been there, like, God, like, okay, like, where you at? And it's just like the other day, it was like an aha moment. And it was like God was just showing me, like, yo, like, look. Like, and I had to sit and I was like, God, wait a minute, your character. There's nothing bad in you. There's nothing evil about you, period. So everything that I'm going through, you told me that you would never leave me nor forsake me. So that means that you're always here. So I just have to know if I know you, you know what I mean? That's just like you dating somebody and you know them. And this is how he was equating things. It's just like, like when you know somebody and it's just like somebody come to you and be like, and I heard, another young lady say this. She was just like, from my church, she was just like, she put it in a way like somebody can't come and tell you something that your peoples know. Can't nobody come and tell you. You be like, nah, that ain't true. That ain't true. Yeah, even though what you just said kind of stung me a little bit, but I know enough to say that nah, my people ain't gonna come at me like that. And that's the thing with God. It's just like God is just like, know my character. Even though sometimes it may hurt, even though sometimes you may be going through something, and it's just like, the ups and downs in life. But if you know my character, you're gonna be like, I'm gonna hold on.
He's never gonna fail you. He's intentional.
He's never going to fail you. Never. It's just that sometimes we have the wrong outlook. Don't get me wrong. Life, like, listen, sometimes it hurt. Sometimes things hurt because you be like, yo, God, what happened? And it's
Why am
just
I
like,
going through this
God,
pain?
yeah, like, yo, why do I gotta go through this, and why I'm going through this, why I'm going through that, and it's just
Why
like
me?
why me?
That's
But
the
if we
number one
take a
question.
moment,
Why me?
yo, flow. But what's so dope about it is, though, if we take the moment and just think about it, and what if God flipped it on us and was like, what about my son? I sent him to go through all of that pain and suffering for y'all because I loved you that much. You know what I mean? So sometimes it's just like, God, what if we took a moment and thought about it, be like, dog, God, you watched a righteous God send his righteous son, never sinned, never did anything, never did anything deserving of death, yet he died the most gruesome, horrible death, and his father watched and stood back and allowed it to happen because he loved a people that was sinful. Come on, man. Like, yo, listen, when that right there, when God gave me that the other day, I was just like, yo. I said, you are the dopest God ever. Because we're the ones that was deserving and still deserving of death. But yet and still, he said, you know what? I'm gonna give y'all my son, the one that's righteous, the only one that when his blood is shed for you on Calvary, that's the only way that you can get back. And I watched this happen. So I know what pain is. I know what it feels like to go through. I know what it's like to be hurt. You don't know the extent of what I know. I know what it's like to want to retaliate against the people that don't even care about me, not even looking for me. But because I love you that much, I sat back and I watched. So don't think that I don't feel your pain. Don't think that I'm not here. Just know my character enough to know that I love you and I want the best for you, and I'll work this situation out for you if you allow me to.
Amen. Amen. He's touching everybody in here tonight, Pam. You're getting that message across.
Man, God is real, Flo. To God be the glory. I thank him for real, because You know, it's something when you finally know the truth, you know, when you looking to truly live it. You know, flow is a moment where I was playing when I was playing two sides of the fence, you know, still trying to do me, in the church, and still trying to be with God, you know, and you can't do that, you know. And in 2020, 2020, people saw my life begin to fall apart in on social media. You know what I mean? There was so many things that just started happening, and it was just like God was like, "All right, you want to play games? So let me just pull the covers back. I've been trying to get your attention for the longest to try to get you in line and get yourself together, and then next thing you know, God said, "All right, enough is enough. This is what you want to do, so we're gonna do this." And He pulled back the covers, and He began to expose me, and that thing hurt. You know, it hurt. And I'm grateful. I can say that I'm grateful for it now, because now I'm in a place where I'm searching and I'm pressing in for a real relationship, not a relationship based upon my standards, but His. You know, and I'm just grateful, Flo. I'm
And
grateful
I
for
and
the
I and I
opportunity.
and I prayed for you
Thank you,
at
bro.
that time.
Praise God.
I prayed for you at that
Listen,
time, and
whew,
me knowing you, I was like, "Nah, this ain't Pam.
come
This
on,
ain't Pam." You know what I mean? And we all make mistakes, and no matter what we may see in people, we're all human. We all make mistakes,
my
and
God.
you know, it's up to us to acknowledge our
Mm,
mistakes and,
yeah,
and learn from
yeah,
it and grow from it. And
yes. Yes, Flo, and I thank God, Flo, because I promise you, I know that one thing I do know is this, is that had I died in my mess, I know that I can't say for nobody else, but I know that hell would have been my home. You can't play with God. You can't play both sides of the fence with God. You can't play. You think your arms that you you that cocky to think that you can play with God? You know what I mean? You get to a point in your life where you don't fear God. You know what I mean? No more. So it's just like, man, I promise you, Flo, it was one of the most um devastating moments for me. And what I mean by devastating is that, man, God took His hand off of me, and I thought I was going to lose my mind, literally. Like, yo, when I say literally, I mean literally. And it's just like, man, to be in a place where my mind is not gone, to be in a place where God is allowing me to have a relationship with Him again, man, like, yo, listen, I'm done with me, you know, and I'm looking to be ever so careful. And it's just like, all I want is to live for Jesus. That's it. And that's all. What He say to do, where He say to go, when He say to do it, it's just like, no, am I perfect? No, because that's not what He's looking for. But He's looking for a heart that's real, that want to serve Him and not play no games with Him. You know what I mean? And to look to be obedient to what He say to do. You know, so it's just like, I'm grateful. I'm grateful that He did not take my life, because He had every right to. You know, and so I'm here to tell anybody, man, listen, if you playing with God, please don't do it. Because it ain't worth it, because you ain't gonna win. You know what I mean? And if you serving Him, keep serving Him. Don't stop. If you don't know Him, come to know Him, because He is the best. That, and you know, because I don't want to say thing. He's the greatest. He's the best that you can ever have in your life. You know, and I'm so grateful to God, because I know I shouldn't be here. Flo, I know it, and I thank you, and I thank everybody else for their prayers, because I'm telling you, it was only by the grace of God that I did not lose my mind and go crazy. And I thank God for my church family, whom I let down. I let my family down. You know, I hurt my ex, his family. There was so many people that was involved that I can only imagine that was hurt in the midst of all the mess that I caused. And it wasn't just that, you know, it was more. It was in the church. It was just everything that I was doing. You know, it's just like, you know, sometimes you look at a person and it's just like, you know, you can see the outer sins. You know what I mean? I wasn't sexing. I wasn't, you know, drinking. I wasn't drugging. I wasn't doing this. I wasn't doing that. But my heart was black. You know what I mean? You got the envy and the covetousness, and you know, you talking about people over here, but you kind of trying to make it seem like that ain't what you're doing, and you know, you kind of doing all types of stuff on the low, being sneaky, being a liar, all of these things that it's just like it ain't outwardly showing. But in here, your heart, man, listen, that thing, I tell anybody, it ain't worth it, Flo. It ain't worth it. Because I'm telling you, God will give you time to get it together. And he was giving me time, like, come on, like, come on. But when you so doggone arrogant and you think that life really is about yourself, God will show you absolutely different.
True.
Absolutely different.
True. True. And you're living in your truth, and you've overcome that.
By the
You're
grace of
still
God.
here.
Yeah.
By the grace of God, you're still here,
Boom, boom,
and
boom.
God is using you. His
Yes.
vessel.
Thank you, Jesus.
And
Ooh.
you brought shifting gears for a second. You just was on BT, Presents The Encore, and I think it's been so long that I've seen a reality show where you had someone that came in with the energy that you did, knowing you being yourself, you um, bringing a light to a situation, right? And of course, when we watch TV, we watch entertainment. People are looking for the drama. People are looking for people to go through things, and you can tell that there's 9 women in the house, and y'all were coming together to put together a project, and
Right.
you can tell that your spirit was a light to everyone there. Through the trials and tribulations that y'all went through, you grabbed the women and said, "Come on, let's pray." And that touched me so much because you don't see that often. And if something like that does happen most of the time for TV, they edit that out. You don't get that in reality TV. I'm not gonna be too preachy with it, but what gave you when you got that call to go on BET Presents The Encore? Like, what made you say, "Okay, this is what I'm gonna do"? And
right. You know what? Yes, go ahead. Huh?
I said, what made you know that God wanted you to do it?
You know what? It's something because my apostle, not like probably like a maybe, I don't know if it was 2 weeks or a week or so. I don't know. I get the time frame, but she had prophesied and said that you're gonna be. The Lord said you're gonna be on on TV on a reality show, and it was just like I promise you, it was like right after that. Next thing you know, I got an email asking for me to be on this show, and like I said, at first I was gonna do everything. And then after that, I was just like, when everything happened in 2020, I was like, look, I'm not doing this show. I'm not even going to do it. I had told them that I wasn't going to do the show. And God told me to do it. The Lord said to do the show. That's the only reason why I did it. Because I had backed out. I was like, I'm not doing this. I was like, yo, I'm going to go through the healing process of what it is that I need to go through, the deliverance, all of those things that I need to go through. And I'm not going to do this in front of no camera. I was like, I'm not doing this show. And the Lord said to do the show. And I called them back and I asked them, well, actually, my people actually got back in contact via email to Scott Shatsky. He's a great man. Shout out to Scott. Got a lot of respect for him. He's such a great dude. And he was asked if there was still an opportunity for me to be on the show. And he said yes. And that's why I did the show, because God said to do the show. And being on the show, I can honestly say it was an amazing opportunity. It was some things that they didn't even show. Now, when I first prayed with Felicia and Fallon, they didn't even show the part where Felicia came to me and she asked me, she said, Pamela, can you pray for me? She said, can you pray with us? And that's why I went outside and I said, yes, I sure can. And I went outside and I prayed. And that's one thing about it is, though, it's just like, the things that they didn't show in the house, like you said, TV, they want the drama, they want the this, they want the that. They didn't show the part of all these women in this house that have been hurt in this industry. You know what I mean? They didn't show the depth of those things, because had people saw that, the tears, the hurt, the pain, and heard it, you would understand some of the some of the things that went on a little more. You would
Mm-hmm.
understand why some is a little more aggressive than others. But it's just like, like you said, they got to make it ready for TV and all of that, and I understand that. But at the end of the day, I've had an opportunity to be in a house full of women who are amazingly talented, dope, um, can go out here and still get it. You know what I mean? Get on that stage and do what they do, and it be amazing. And I'm so grateful that I was one of the chosen. You know what I mean? One of the chosen to have an opportunity to say, you know what? Okay, this is what it is that I need for you to do. And I did not know going in what God would have for me to do, but all I knew is that God, I just want to do what you would have me to do. I don't want to go here and do nothing crazy. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want Pamela to be seen. I want God to be seen. So it's just like, just seeking his face and just asking him. And there were times, just as well as everybody else being in the house, like, listen, there was things that I had to come back home and regroup with. Being in that house was a blessing to me, because there's some things in your life that sometimes you think you're over. Now, sometimes you may not express it. And I thank God for that. I thank God for not being the one that feel like I gotta showtime. I ain't the showtimer no more. And it's just like, I've never been the one to, like, I've never been a fighter, never wanted to fight. But sometimes when people coming at you, so now you gotta be like, yo, I ain't the punk. So,
Right.
and
I'm
I
from
thank
Jersey.
God that, yes, I thank God that I'm not living in that place anymore, to where it's just like I gotta show time. But like I said, there were things that I came back home with, and it was just like I had to look at myself. It was just like, and I was just like, wow, God, I thought I was over that. And had I not gone, that ugly would have still been just lying dormant. You know what I mean? So it's just like, it's things that was brought to the forefront of my attention that I had to go to God with and say, God, please forgive me. Like, God, please help me with this. I thought I was over this, but I'm not. So it's just like, it's like everything that we go through, it goes back to, it'll work for your good. So in this house, I think that it was something for all of us. I had to meet these women, you know what I mean? Because had I not met them, God only knows when it came out. If I had not have met them, the ugly part of the things that I had to come home and regroup with for my own self wouldn't have came up. So it's just like, I'm so grateful just for being able, again, for to be have another opportunity and to be chosen. And it's just like, my thing is like, now it's just like, man, listen, at the end of the day, let's go hard. Let's look to make TV, like you said, different. Let's look to make it different, because it can be. All it takes is for us to be that part. But what I can say is this, is though, in when it comes to the reality show world, I understand a certain part of it now more than I ever have. And that's why you got to be so careful, and you got to be grounded. Man, listen, and even being grounded in Christ, it's just like, yo, look, it's rough having a camera in your face for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, for 30 days. Yo, I promise you, there was moments that I was walking outside on the walking the whole the I can't even think of the word right now, but walking every, like, the whole part from the front to the back. I mean, going to the point where I'm off camera now walking, to where the tears, crying the tears, and just talking to God, praying, getting on the phone. I spoke to my pastor, and it's just like, getting prayer, because it was just like, yo, it got to a point where it was rough. It's not an easy ticket to have that camera every word that you say, a camera in your face like this everywhere you go, even when you go to the restroom, there's no camera in there, but you got to unmic yourself, because it's a mic on the ceiling. And it's just like, yo, like, listen, like, look. Yo, so when you see somebody now, I understand when somebody was on a reality show and they tweaking and tripping out. You saying to yourself, like, yo, look, I can understand it ain't right, but you can look at it and be like, yo, I can understand, like, they had a lot of pressure on them, because it's pressure. It's a lot of pressure, because it's certain things that sometimes that can catch you off guard, and it's just like, if you ain't careful, it can, you be like, yo, look, like, oh, You gotta be real easy and be like, look, okay, God, help me, God. You gotta sometimes you gotta pull it in real quick. And then sometimes it's just like, okay, cool. But then it's sometimes you just gotta you gotta hold you gotta really just hold yourself, man, and pray, God, please help me. Help me with this so that I won't come out of character. Please help me so that I won't come out of character. It's not always easy. Being in that house, I ain't do everything right. I didn't, I didn't. I'm just like, yo, look. Like at the end of the day, I'm like, all right, go home. Yep, there's some things that I gotta look at me. Let me look at myself opposed to looking at somebody else. Yeah.
At any moment, did you think like, this is too much? I'm about to quit. Like I'm about to go home. Did you ever feel that
Yo.
at any point?
Yes, I did. Yeah. In my head, I was just like, yo, what in the world am I doing here? What? Well, the first night, I was like, oh, okay. But yeah. But
Did
the
you have
first
any
night,
idea?
I was kind of just like, woo-wee. All
Did you
right.
have any idea about who was going to be on the show? Did you have any
No,
idea?
I had no
They
idea.
didn't reveal that to y'all at all.
No, they didn't reveal it to us at all. No. Yeah, so I went in not knowing anything. Yeah. Yep.
Wow. You know, you made it to the end.
Yes.
And you were a blessing to the folks that you were around. You can
Praise
tell that
God.
all of the women loved you, and you loved them as well. Blueprint.
Yes. Fire.
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 What you brought to Blueprint was super, super dope. The performance at the end was super dope. You putting God, keeping God first. That touched me. It was a few moments on the show that really touched me. When Kima came to see you.
Yeah.
And that was another thing you had to come to face with Kima being hurt.
Yeah.
Deciding that you needed to part ways
Yes.
to work on
Right.
yourself. And I think a lot of people was hurt. And even I was hurt, from a person that worked with Total. And one day I called Nap and I was like, "Hey Nap, I got some shows and stuff with Total." And he was like, "Not right now." And
Right.
and just seeing that you needed to go in another direction for you and what God wanted you to do. It made sense because I still didn't understand it.
Right.
And seeing you on the encore and seeing the conversation with you and Kim, I can just tell that you didn't part ways from Total to disappoint anyone. You had fans that were disappointed, but you really did what was on your heart.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you have to respect that. You did what was on your heart and what God called you to do. You brought a beautiful song to Blueprint that touched people all across the world. They heard it. And now you're working on a gospel album, right?
Well, they said, you know what, at the end of and I'm glad you mentioned that. At the end, they said a gospel record, but Flo, my thing is that, listen, God has given me all music. It's just without compromise. Like, listen, you was playing the Y record when I came on here. Come on, you was playing Y. I got the You Said, and it's just like, and it's another joint. I'm actually dropping a record. I'm not going to tell you the date yet. You'll see it later, just in a little bit, some posts. But yes, actually about to drop a single, and just, my thing is like the album that I have is very eclectic. I'm so grateful for it. I got a pop record. I got a rock record. It's just like, I got the R&B record. It's just like, I'm still doing music. It's just that I'm living the gospel, and it's just a line that you cannot cross. You know what I mean? It's just like, look, and what's so dope, I promise you, I said this yesterday in the interview. It's just like, what's so dope about God? It's just like, it's just like God tells the water not to transgress, not to go a certain, when I say transgress, not to go a certain limit, so it can't come up and flood the earth. So it's just like, God is just like, look, if I tell the sea to listen to me and listen to me, so then why shouldn't you? So you understand what I'm saying? So it's just like, look, at the end of the day, Flo, it's just like, look, there is a line that don't cross this line. And it's just like, yo, look, it's just like the doctor that's saved. It's a lawyer that's saved, basketball player that's saved. It's just like, yo, they don't dribble. I'm just saying dribbling, saying Christian, 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 Christian. With the, and I'm saying that in a funny way. I'm just saying that being funny, but it's just like at the end of the day, there are gospel artists and there are artists that are not gospel artists that are saved, on fire, love the Lord. And it's just like God, because God knows who to put in the path of the people that I'm supposed to touch. It's people that you touch that I can't touch. You know what I mean? And it's vice versa for anybody else. So it's just like I'm grateful and I'm thankful. This album is just like I equated to like, yo, look how colorful my dude, Chance the Rapper. I love Chance. I think he's so dope, so fire. And so it's just like look at how colorful his album is. Look at like Kendrick Lamar. He's definitely eclectic. And so that's how I look at the flavoring of the album. It's just very colorful, very different, but at the same time too, it's a line that I'm not crossing. I'm not gonna cross the line. I ain't gonna twerk. You ain't gonna twerk on this album. You ain't gonna say, I ain't twerking on this album. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that because that's just my life. I can't say nothing about somebody else's life, but I have to live by my convictions. You know what I mean? What it is that God has placed in my heart to do. And it's just like, and I'm looking to do that and go forward. And it's just like, man, look, to have fun. One thing about it is though, it's just like, I'm grateful that God is still allowing me to do music and whatever he placed in my heart, whatever come out, I'm just looking just be like, all right, you're supposed to. You're supposed to.
And I love the music that you make. We need you don't have to worry. We need that on
All right, yeah, yeah. All
you know,
right, listen. Okay.
I went to
Yes.
go look for it. I went to go look for it the other day, and I was like, "Oh, it's not up here."
For real, yeah. We'll get it. Listen, revamp. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But I appreciate you. I appreciate everything that you're doing, and the music that you're putting out is it's really universal. And
That's what's up.
it feels good. And you don't, and like you said, you don't have to be doing certain things, and you're exposing yourself in a certain way.
Right.
You're still putting out good music that people can be able to listen to and relate to.
Yes, and have a good time too.
And
yes.
still have a good time and still
yes.
And still get your message
right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
In your way, what God's
right.
going to do. So I'm looking forward to hearing that. I know it's been a long time coming, and I'm super excited.
That's what's up.
Super excited.
Yes.
Your book, Total Exposure. Everyone keeps asking about it in the comments. Pieces of Me.
Yes.
What's something that when people pick up this book? What's something that you want people to take from it?
You know what? When you pick up the book, Total Exposure, listen, it's just pieces of my life and, just the things that I went through, the struggles from being one of the chapters, first chapter of the book, Ugly Girl, going through the I'm too dark, people calling me too dark. I was too skinny. I ain't have no butt as a girl, and when I was younger. And it's just like people coming at me some sort of kind of way. I felt like I was ugly up until just manless, and still the struggle sometimes comes, so it's just like, and that's just in all honesty, just learning who I am as a woman and learning how to love me and to be comfortable in my own skin. It's been a long time coming. And it's just like, first chapter, Ugly Girl, like I said, the $1 Million Man, Puff, the chapter about Puff, and then from there, the promiscuity that I went through, you know what I mean? There's one in there called chapter called La Toilette. You know what I mean? And what it is that chapter is about me feeling like I was so abused in areas of my life that I felt like a toilet. You know what I mean? It's just like I felt used, like people just used and abused me, and I allowed it. I seen it, but I allowed these things. You know what I mean? And then it's just like, you got the chapter in there, HIV scare. So many different things that has happened in my life that a lot of people didn't know. And it's just like different pieces of me, the molestation that I went through, and just so many different things as far as in this book. And it's just like, I really believe that people will be able to get it because it's just like, you know, those are some of the comments that I got. You know, even some of the dudes that was talking to me was just like, yo, you know, and I would have never thought this. It's like, yo, your book touched me because, you know, I was the ugly dude. You know what I mean? And things like that. It's just like sometimes you never know what somebody go through in their life, and it's just like, it's a beautiful thing when, you know, God can give you something that He knows that the person that's gonna pick it up on the other end can get free as well, not just you. And I would tell everybody, like, everybody got a story. You got a story, you know, just as well as I got a story, and somebody needs to hear it. You know what I mean? So it's just like it may not be in book form, but look, tell your testimony, tell them and let them know, like, yo, look. One thing, Flo, is that I'm learning. I'm telling you, I'm learning how to love me and to be comfortable in my skin. Like I said, like one thing I'm learning is that I may not be everybody's flavor, but I am somebody's flavor. I'm God's flavor. You know what I mean? He made me, He created me, and so it's just like I'm learning how to love the girl that I see in the mirror when I wake up in the morning. You know what I mean? When your hair all over the place, got a little slide on the side of your face, all
You got
every
cold in your
moment of,
eye.
you know what I mean? Every moment of yourself. So it's just like I'm really learning all of these things, and I thank God. And it's just like, you know, sometimes you gotta push a little harder than the other days, and then it's just like, man, you gotta tell yourself, you gotta let yourself know, like, look, you are beautiful, you know, so you won't find yourself giving yourself away to somebody, you know. And I've done that, you know. You love you because you're not used to being the quote unquote pretty one, you know what I mean? So it's just like, here you go, somebody, first person coming back, hey girl, you know, hey girl, you looking good over there, or whatever. And then here you go off with this dude, you know what I mean, that really don't care nothing about you. And it's just like, yo, look, I've searched for the trophy on my arm. I gotta have the dude, the best looking dude. He gotta have this and he gotta have that. He gotta look this way. And when he looks that way, it's just like it's a trophy that I'm carrying. I'm trying to carry a trophy because I don't love me. You understand? And so it's just like I had to hear that at the time from a friend. Then that thing stung me. That was a friend of mine at the time. Yo, that thing stung me so bad. It hurt. But when I was able to be truthful with myself, that's exactly what it was. You know, so it's just like I thank God that
Not
I'm
realizing that
learning.
you're a trophy.
Huh?
Not realizing that you're a trophy.
Right, exactly. So it's just like I thank God that I'm learning how to be like, yo, P girl, like you, dog, P girl, you, Pamela, you a beautiful young lady, you a beautiful woman. I say young lady because your girl not, I'm still young, yes, God. Still young, yes.
She's still busting them dance moves, okay?
Come on, still young, still young. So it's just like I'm grateful for where I am in my life now. And like I said, I tell anybody, listen, you are beautiful. You are, if you a dude, you may not be everybody's flavor. You may have things that look on you that may not be this, it may not be that. But listen, look in the mirror and tell yourself anything. And I heard my pastor say this, like she's just like, anything that you can change, look in the mirror. If you can change it, then change it. If you got to change your eating habits, if you got whatever it is that you got to do, if it's something on you that you want and you can change it, then change it. But if it can't be changed, embrace you because you are beautiful. You are gorgeous. You are handsome. Yes, do it. Yes, all the way. Yes, you are. And if somebody try to tell you something different, don't be cocky in it. Just be confident. Just be like, yo, listen, that's your opinion. That ain't mine.
Because
Absolutely.
people will beat you down, and when people see that you're
Man,
vulnerable,
listen.
when people see that you're vulnerable to what they say about you,
Ooh.
you're gonna get it. You're
Yep.
gonna get it. Next thing you know, it's like wildfire. You got a whole bunch of people telling you this and telling you that, and you're like,
Man,
not for me, because
listen.
you're the person that they can beat down. You're the person that somebody can say, hey,
Right,
listen, this is you. This is how you are. And
right.
you know, and
That ain't
sometimes
it.
we get caught up in performing for acceptance. You know what I
Yep,
mean? And
yep.
so people can like us, so people can gravitate to us, and not being ourselves, just being who we
Right.
are. You know what I mean? So, and you know, staying true to yourself is what it's all about. And when you're not staying true to yourself,
Absolutely.
you know, it'll eventually you'll eventually be slapped in the face, if you want to say. Um,
Man.
really, you'll eventually be slapped in the face, and you know, but we all go through life,
Yep.
and we We all go through trials and tribulations. We all have a story, like you said, and you know, the things you've been through, you don't live there anymore.
Yeah.
So it's all good. It's all
Yeah,
good. You're able
absolutely.
to inspire other people. You know what I mean? You're able to give your story. You're able to, you know, to be here, to tell your story. So
Absolutely.
it's all good. What anybody got anything negative to say? That's cool. That's how you feel. That's not me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And nobody opinion of you is greater than God's.
that's right. That's right. That's it. You better say that. That's good. That's
You know what I
good.
mean? So,
Yeah.
um, you know, with so many years in the game, um, you being talented the way you are and working with so many different people, is there anyone on your bucket list that you want to work with in the future, like that you want to have on this project or in future projects? Anyone you really want to work with? I heard you mention Chance earlier. That's
That's
on
it.
deck.
That's exactly it. That's Chance. You know what I mean? If man, listen, if I would love to do a record with Chance. I definitely would. I would love to do a record with Chance. I think he's so dope. I think he's so fire. And I think that it would be a real good look, you know. I really do. I think that it'll be a great look because I know that he loves the Lord, you know. So, yeah, I think that it would be an amazing record.
Claim it. If it's meant to be, you already know. Guys going,
Man,
look, y'all tag
listen.
Chance right now. Y'all
Yo,
tag
listen, I think that
let Chance know.
yes, listen. Yes.
You
Out
have
of
dope
here.
chemistry. You have dope chemistry. I can see that. I can see that.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, I
what's up.
think that it would be an amazing record. And it's just like, you know, I believe that there's a lot of talent out here, a lot of talent. And it's just like, you know, but Chance definitely is that dude. It's just like his swag. It's just ridiculous. I just like the fact of his stance, you know, not to conform, you know, and that's one thing, you know, him coming into the game and him being an indie artist and him just really going hard the way that he went. It was just like he went hard. I mean hard. For real. For real, for real. And it was just like, wow, that's dope. And shout out to my brother Lyrics. I'm definitely gonna be doing a record with him. I'm gonna talk to you offline about him, Flo. He's fire. I don't know. I'll send you some of his stuff. Fire. So
Okay.
I definitely look to do some stuff.
Put
And
me
that's
on.
my
Put me
brother.
on. I gotta be in the loop. Put me on.
Yeah, that's my brother. That's my mom. That's my mama's baby. So yes, that's my brother. So yes, indeed. And he's definitely been making some noise out here. So shout out to Lyrics. I definitely gotta say shout out to my brother because he's fire, fire, fire. And Jokers definitely is been getting at him. So he been doing some stuff with some Jokers. Yes, yeah.
What do you feel is the biggest career accomplishment so far?
Wow. I don't know. That's a hard question. That's hard for me to even try to say right now. You know what? I believe that there is greater. You know, I think that there's greater. I have had the opportunity to work with some beautiful people. You know, just look at Kima and Keisha for one. You know, and I can honestly say that that has been just amazing. And when you think about it, you know, you think about Total. It's just like, you know, right now, you know, I worked with Biggie. You know, we worked with Big and this, that, and the third. But had I not been in Total, I wouldn't have had the opportunity. So then I can sum it up with that and say, at this point of my life, Total, because Total opened the door for us. You know, Puff. You know, and all of those other things. So working with Kima and Keisha has been amazing. You know, I definitely would say that if I had to sum it up, if I had to answer, then I'm going to say Kima and Keisha, you know, working with Total because it opened the door for us in so many different areas of my life. And I know that there's more, you know, so it's just like I'm looking for the more. So I'm not going to say that, you know how sometimes people sum it up in this one thing. I say that, you know, this was the beginning of some things for Pamela Long. You know, now it's just like the door has, like, God is like, it's revealing. So many other things are being revealed, and I'm excited. I'm excited about it. But if I look at it a little deeper, I'm gonna say everything so far that I stepped into has been awesome and amazing because it's like it's a stamp that's being made. You know, it's just like another piece of the puzzle. I'll put it that way. It's another piece of the puzzle that's being added. So it's just like, yo, look, I don't think the puzzle gonna be over until I leave this world. So I might as well go ahead
Exactly.
and get all and let all the pieces come
I'm gonna
together. Let
continue
them
putting
all
this
come
pieces.
together.
Look,
Yes.
total exposure to pieces of me. Okay.
Come
You know
on.
what I mean? So you're gonna continue
Yes.
putting those pieces together to the puzzle
Yes.
until the
Absolutely.
puzzle is complete. Until your puzzle is
Yes.
complete. Um,
Absolutely.
Amen. You know, I ask everyone who comes on here, what do you want your legacy to be? Like when you're gone, what do you want
Right.
people to look back and say, Pamela Long, what do you want your legacy to be?
All right. And it's you know what? This is something that before it would have been completely different. But at the end of the day, I know that we all are going to have accomplishments and it's going to, you want to leave something for your children and all of this stuff and everything, and you want people to know you in a great way and not in a bad way. But at the end of the day, Flo, I don't want nobody else to know nothing else about me. I want them to know and say, dog, she loved Jesus, that he was her everything. Because to me, that's all that matters. Because I can't leave. The only thing that I can leave behind is something that, you want to leave something behind that is more than just this, can be taken away within a moment. You know what I mean? It can burn down. The money can burn up. The house can burn up.
We're not
Car
talking
can
about
blow up.
material. No, nothing
Yeah, yeah,
materialistic.
exactly. You know what I mean? Like all of those things, because the legacy is just like even sometimes somebody can contain a good name, you know. But one name that you can't taint to me is his, and it's just like, man, that's what I want to be known for. My life is that I lived for Christ. I don't think that there's no other greater legacy that you can have with that, and everything else is just, everything else is a bonus. It's just like, oh yeah, she was dope. Like, yo, she was dope. Yeah, she did do such. Oh yeah, she did. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, the only thing that matters to me is that one legacy. Because man, forever, it's just like, because Christ is eternity. You know what I mean? That's eternal. You can't never take that away. You can never take that away. And that's something that can be passed on from generation to generation. Like, dog, grandma, great grandma, what? Dog, she loved. That's all we hear about, how she loved Jesus. Dog, like, yeah. Let me pick up my Bible. Let me pick up my Bible and see. So it's just like, man, with that, it's so awesome. It's so amazing. And I'll end with this, right? I saw a comment because I don't usually read comments no more. You know what I mean? And I think it's a good thing for me. Because for a minute, some of the things that you go through sometimes, you put it on yourself. Like I ain't putting this on nobody, because you put things on yourself sometimes, and it's just like, sometimes people come back with it. Sometimes people come back and they be upset, they be mad, so they say some things, and I really don't do the comments. And sometimes if they brush past my eyes or whatever, but I do read my DMs, and if the DMs are crazy, just delete, or you just delete, pray, and let it be. And but I say all that to say is that it was a young lady that I don't know how old her child was, but I saw a comment and it blessed my heart, and it just made me say, like, yo, I gotta go harder. I gotta stay the course. I gotta keep moving forward, because sometimes we as people don't even realize how much our lives affect one another. You know what I mean? Because they really do. And what she said was that she's like, my child was watching the encore with me, and you was talking about God so much, they was like, let me read the Bible, because she always talking about God. That thing right there just it does something to me, because it's just like, dog, God, I gotta stay the course. Like, if sometimes when you want to quit, man, it's just like, dog, like, yo, it's worth every moment. Sheesh. That right there takes me out, man, because it's just like, dog, that's why I gotta keep moving. I got a purpose. I got a reason. I got a reason to keep going, even when I don't. You know, my family is looking at me. People that I don't know is looking at me. And I heard this woman of God at my church say one time. She said, she was doing a prayer. She was praying, and before she started praying, she was like, I can't not stay the course. I can't mess up because people are watching me. You know, and so what happens to those that are watching you? You know, so it's just like, man, I promise you, it's just like, I'm just like, yo, God has given me more of a reason, more and more to be like, yo, keep going forward, keep doing what you're doing, keep, no matter what, tears in your face, whatever, get up, do the right thing, do. And I heard Mason say this. I heard Mason, people say, you know, they say Mace still, which is Mace, you know, but I say Mason, you know, definitely. I heard him say one day, dog, I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry. But I definitely was listening to him one day, and he was just talking about, who was it? I can't even think. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But whatever it is that he said, it blessed me. You know, it definitely blessed me. Thank you, Holy Spirit. God is so good. Come on, God, come through here. When he talked about doing, he was like doing the right thing. He said, being mature enough to do the right thing because you know that it's right to do. You know what I mean? So it's just like, yo, when you don't feel like doing the right thing, you mature enough to do the right thing because it's the right thing to do. Will you be reliable? You know what I mean? Will you be faithful because you know that it's the right thing to do? And that's where I'm at. It's just like, yo, I just want to do the right thing to do because I know that it's right even when I don't feel like it. So, yeah, that's where I'm at.
You know, Pam,
That's where I'm at.
thank you. Thank you so much. I
God.
think, you know, I've had folks come on here and we, you know, and leave messages. People be able to take with them. But tonight, just the love that you're getting. See, I'm reading the comments as you're talking,
Wow.
and the love that you're getting, and people telling you that, Pam, you inspired me. Your book inspired me.
Wow.
Um, you
To
know,
God
so
be the glory.
you're a vessel. You know, you're a vessel of God, and God is using you. Um, and thank you for just your commitment to being truthful, honest, and your commitment of saying, "Hey, listen, I messed up." You know, I wasn't even gonna ask you about
Right.
respect, about the situation that you went through publicly. I was gonna ask you that out of respect, and
Right.
you know, you talked about it, and you know, that book, y'all. Make sure y'all get it, okay?
Yeah.
Total exposure, pieces of me. I'm pretty sure that there's a lot more in there. I'm actually gonna get it myself.
Yes.
Yeah, make sure I get it. Where can we get the book, Pam?
Right. You can get it Pamela Long, Pamela Long, the number forever.com. And that's the autographed copy. And if you want to just get the regular copy, you can go to Amazon.com and cop it off of there as well too.
Yeah, make sure
Pamela
y'all
Long
support that book.
forever.com and then Amazon.com as well. So if you want the autographed copy, is Pamela Long forever, the number forever.com.
Listen, y'all make sure y'all get that autographed copy, okay?
Yeah, yep.
Y'all make sure y'all get it directly
Appreciate
from the
it.
source, okay? You know, but thank you so much again, Pam. People's hearts
Thank
are
you,
full
Flo.
tonight. People have
Yes.
gotten a message tonight, and I'm pretty sure that you've inspired people tonight, and everything that you do, continue to walk in your purpose and what God has set for you, and we look forward to seeing it if you touched.
That's
New
right.
music is coming.
Yeah.
The new music
Yes.
is coming, so we're looking forward to that.
Yes.
Gotta get back up on here. We can play that and we can
All right.
feedback.
Yes.
We need. You don't have to worry on the streaming.
All right. So definitely, I'm going to get that to you. I'm going to get that to you personally.
Like we need it. We need that, and for folks who have
Okay.
that, we need them to get it too.
Okay. I'll
Definitely.
get
Thank
that.
you so much, Pam.
Thank you.
Anything else that you got coming that you want to kind of plug in, or anybody you want to shout out?
You know what? I definitely just want people to know also I train, so you can get at me if you want a trainer, virtual trainer. I train in person too. I don't know if you in the the New Jersey area, but I definitely train in person. We're gonna do the mask and we
Yeah,
do
but
so.
it's about to say that, but
Uh,
she ain't
listen,
meeting up with nobody.
come
You got the
on,
mask
come
on. You
on.
know what
Yes,
I mean?
I'm over there, and I'm telling you
And
what to
you,
do. You know what I mean? And then and we outside, definitely outside, and also um on virtual. You know, so if you want a trainer, you want to train virtually, just get at me. I have my people send you over the information, and we definitely we can rock out. And it's just like so many different things coming down the pipeline. You know that I definitely. Um, you know how sometimes you got to just hold off a little bit, so I'm holding off a little bit. And but I definitely got some things down the pipeline, and you definitely will be seeing more of me. I'm excited. Like I said, single coming, album is coming, and let's see what it is that God is going to do. I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm excited. And thank y'all. Thank y'all so much for all the love, all the comments. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all, and I'm grateful, and I'm thankful for all of the
some
support.
Pam, somebody sent me a question. They said,
Okay.
would you ever be open to doing a total versus? I know that was probably gonna come along.
A total versus. You know what? I'm not gonna say no that I wouldn't be. You know, it's just like right now. You know how like you doing what it is that you got to do, and it's just like, man, listen. I know that it may sound like people like, dog, is she always gonna say yes? I'm always gonna say, man, listen. If it's in God's will, if
Whatever.
God allows me to go that route, I definitely would, because you know, of course, who don't want to get out there like do 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 do. But it's just like, you know, right now your girl got some things that she got to do, so it's just like with that
Pam is on a
getting,
mission, y'all.
getting those
So,
things. Yes, I gotta
so
go. I
it's a
gotta
part
roll
of
with the
God's
with it.
plan
Yes, come on,
that
I gotta
verses
go
will
in
be
this place.
there.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And then from there, whatever it is that he allowed me to do, you know how it is. You remember when Michael came back, Michael was still out there shamoning. Come on, Michael, shamon. He was getting it with his brothers when they got back on that stage. So listen, you already know. Like, listen, if it be the will of God, Michael has some things that he had to do, and you know, so it's just like, yo, look, he got back out there with the Jackson 5 and did what he did. So it's just like, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to whatever it is that God say. You know, so I
Blessings,
hope that
blessings,
answers your
Pam.
question.
Thank you so much. Somebody said, don't take so long to get that music out.
I sure won't. Listen, it's the turnaround is coming right at you. Please know it's coming right at you. You about to have some flavor in your ear. Come on, Craig
There
Mack
we
up
go.
in here.
There we
Here
go.
comes the brand new flavor in your ear. Brand new flavor in you. Come on.
Oh, man. Thank you so much, Pam. Thank you once
Thank you.